Hi, hi everyone, Jordan Long here, and today I want to talk about when someone would get, irked or angered over saying Far Eastern instead of Asian, because Asian is a Hellenish borrowed word, and as we know, there are more than one folk who lived on that land body. Well, you should not say that. Why? I mean, Eastern, or Far Eastern isn't a slight. It's not a shame word or a put down word. It is the English word for anything or anyone living in that slight of the East. And since the East land body is so big, it has the Northeast, the Southeast, the West East, the East East, and the Southeast, and something called the Middle East. And then there's the Far East, and that would make us Far Eastern. Yeah, I don't think you should say that. Why? I call myself Far Eastern all the time. You know, it's not a bad thing. Well, I don't know if you could put that down on your driver's sheet or your pass sheet or something. Yes, I have had that put down, on my driver's deal or my pass deal or whatever you want to call it. I have. It's no big deal. Not some shame word. It's not a slight or a put down. You know. Well, I don't think you're Far Eastern enough. Me saying I'm not Far Eastern enough. Now that's new. That is new. You know. Yes, it's true that I don't behave or do the things that some folks think that Far Eastern folks do, but they do not. And it's true that I only speak English and no other speech. But to say that I'm not Far Eastern enough, well, that's a put down. That's a slight. That's shaming right there. Yeah. I call myself Far Eastern because that's what I am. That's I guess you'll say that's my kind, if you want to say that, you know. And some folks might think that that's, and some folks out there might, think it's the wrong thing to say, but when you stop to think of it, you have the northeastern folk, the southeastern folk, the westeastern folk, then you got the east folk, and you got the middle eastern folk. So yeah, I don't I don't think it's a on my neck. I don't think it's a big deal. Why don't you say Asian? Because first off, it's a Hellenish borrowed word. Two, not every, and two, there's a lot of folks who live in that land body. You got the Middle Eastern folk. You got white folk. Then you got what some folks might call, I don't know, the Southeastern folk, I guess, or the Northeastern folk. And then you got the Far Eastern folk like us. So, yeah, I think that anyone that lives in that in that land body could be that. And I've never had a bind with it. Yeah, well, I just don't like it. I don't like you going around saying Far Eastern. Well, if you don't like it, that's your own business. But it's not sinful or unlawful. It's not a slight or a shaming or anything like that. So if you don't like it, you don't like it. So let me think. So tell me what's your thoughts on this whole thing? You think it's alright for me to call myself Fareasten since my forekin came from that land body? You know, my forekin did. I'm Fareasten, and it's not a slight or a scathing or a guilting in any way. I, Jordan Long, or Jordan Mulan Long, and I'll see you later. Goodbye. Farewell.